Welcome to week 12. It's been a bit hit and miss for me to kind of get the videos rolling weekly. I think all the way till week 9, I was pretty consistent in posting every Sunday. Apologies for being a bit delayed in my posting for those of you following. However, I am making my best effort to make sure at least the week that it's scheduled for, the video is released. So with that, kind of a bit of an apology for my delay, let us start our practice for week 12. So as always, let's begin by taking a comfortable seat. Please use enough height, whatever is necessary for you. Bring the hands close to the side of the body. Press your fingertips down. As you pressurize your fingertips, also focus on the outer thigh bones here. Draw them in so that you can lift your lower abdomen, lift the sides of the chest, taking the outer shoulders back, bringing the upper arms a little bit closer into the body. Lift from the front of the sternum, the abdomen, roll the outer shoulders back, move the shoulder blades into the back. And then maintaining this upright, alert spine, let's bring the palms of the hand, let it rest at the center of the chest. Have the thumb rest here, right here at the sternum. All the other fingers slightly moving away. And now maintaining this, take a couple of breaths, normal soft inhale, normal soft exhale, breathing in and breathing out softly. And now slowly close your eyes and we're going to start with 3 Oms and the invocation to Patanjali. Yogena citasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaidakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankhachakrasidharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Harihi Om. Take another deep, slow, long inhalation and exhalation. Gently lower your head down. Release the hands, placing them back on your legs. Begin to open your eyes and lift your head up. So, in today's sequence, we have 26 asanas. So, let's start. Most of them you're familiar with. So, I will again do the whole sequence with as little props as possible. However, you may use whatever props is necessary. If you've been following, by now you know more or less what you need. So to keep the kind of uninterrupted flow of the practice, I'm also going to pause less and give detailed instructions. Of course, there will be instructions because that's just part and the nature of an Iyengar Yoga practice. However, I will try and keep it moving from one posture to the next, simply naming the name of the asana and then doing it. So let's start in Samasthiti or Tarasana. Please join your big toes. Take your attention to the bottom of the feet. Evenly press the right foot, the left foot. Spread all the toes. Take your attention to the outer shin bones. Draw them in. Take your attention to your outer thighs. Draw them in. At the same time, lift your inner knees. Move the frontal thighs to touch the back of your thighs. And maintaining this compactness of the legs, lift your abdomen, lift the side chest, take the outer shoulders back, and stretch from the shoulders all the way through the elbows into the fingers, into the wrists. Look straight, looking forward, standing in Samasthiti. Now from here, we are going to go for Urdhva Baddhanguliyasana. So remain in the same position. Simply stretch your hands in front of you. Take your right thumb on top of your left. Interlace the hands. Turn the palms out. See that the interlace is nice and tight. If there's any fingers which are moving away, try to keep them within the clasp. Stretch and open the palm of your hand. Take your attention to the elbow joint. Bring it in, the outer upper arms in, and spreading through the palms of the hand with an inhalation. Go ahead and stretch your arms up. Take your attention once more to the outer upper arm, drawing them closer towards the head, and lift and lengthen the sides of the chest up. Lift your inner arms, lift your wrists, lift your forearms, and if you're able to, without throwing the abdomen forward, move the arms behind your ears, and if your elbows are bending, then stay just elongating upwards. Now slowly release. Bring your hands down. I'm just going to slightly step back so you can easily see my hands. Once more, change the clasp. This time, the left thumb comes on top. Interlace your hands again. Good clasp. Remember to keep your Tarasana action. Feet together, outer shins close together, inner knees, outer knees moving back. Turn the palms out. Keep your right upper arm, left upper arm moving into the body as you stretch and lift your arms up. Once more, focus your attention. Bring the outer shoulders closer. Stretch your armpits, stretch the waistline, make your upper arms longer and longer, tighten your elbows, keep the fingers clasped, and then working the arms back behind your head. At the same time, stay with your weight on the heels, frontal thighs back, outer hips in. Stretch up, lengthen the spine. Now slowly release and bring your hands down. Utthita Trikonasana. So once more, position yourself on the center of your mat, starting in Samasthiti. If you are going to step out, then a good way to do it is first to take your hands in the center. I'll do this first. And really stretch your arms out. So you've got this openness of the chest. And then you step your legs out wide. So then, in a way, the distance is right. So the arms give us an indication of how much to take our legs apart. So if you look at your wrists, you more or less want your ankles below your wrists. Have your feet facing forward to begin with. Again, move the buttock in, move the outer thighs in, lift your inner knees, stamp the outer edges of your heels. Spread the chest from the center. Stretch your right arm, your left arm. Now turn your right leg out completely. Turn the knee, the thigh, the foot. Turn your left toes slightly in at the same time, chest facing forward. Take a deep inhale, pressing into that left outer edge of the heel, lengthening the torso. Go down from the waistline, go down from the upper arm, bring your hand down. Use the top arm to really lift the left side of the chest up. Don't let the chest face the floor. Your chest is facing forward. As you press your right hand into the shin, bring that right side of the chest forward. Keep the legs firm. And then if you're okay and you don't have any neck issue, you can turn your head to gaze towards your top arm. Keep your legs straight, arms straight. Now use the top arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Once more, feet pointing straight. Spread the center of the chest. tighten your triceps, tighten your elbows. Now turn your left leg out completely. So the whole thigh has to turn, the foot has to turn, your right toe slightly in. At the same time, see that your hips are not tilting. Keep the hips level, the chest facing straight. Stamp the outer edge of your right heel. Lengthen the left side of the body, moving from the left waistline. Extend, reach with your left arm, and then take your hand down wherever it will touch. Don't be in a rush to go down. It's important that both sides of your spine are even here. You want your right side of the chest not to face down towards the floor. Use the right upper arm to lift up. And that means you have to bring that left shoulder forward, moving that in. Also, we tend to kind of curve on the bottom part of the spine. Lengthen the whole left side away. See that your right leg is firm and left leg is firm. And again, if you're quite okay here without any neck tension, turn from this part of the ear. Don't just turn your neck from this side. Feel as if the bottom part of your head is helping you to turn your head to gaze towards your right thumb. And now use the right upper arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Let's jump the legs back and come back into Samasthiti. Once more. Take a couple of breaths. Evenly press your feet. Lift the armpit chest. Take the outer shoulders back. Elbows straight. Virabhadrasana 2. Bring your hands in the center. Bend your knees and jump your legs out. Remember, we have to bend our leg, so take a good distance. Stretch from the center of the chest. Turn your right leg out. Turn your left foot in. Keep a strong connection just here. If you look at my shorts, just below, just where the legs start to attach to the hip, that part, you have to be firm in these outer thighs. Maintain the grip so your pelvis is not tilting. Yeah, so you have to be firm here. And keeping the arm stretching, stamping your left leg, start to bend your knee. Along with this compactness, you also have to take your awareness to this inner knee, and you have to keep moving from the inner knee to the outer knee. So this creates the rotation and it keeps that right outer hip in as you descend your hips down. So you have to counter, so not letting the knee come forward, you ending up here, inner knee to outer knee, right buttock in, and then go down. Inner knee to outer knee, right buttock in, and now turn your chest. So you're facing forward, stamp that left leg firmly, press the outer edge of the foot, and now you may turn to look towards your right, but move that right inner knee to the outer knee as you go down from the pelvis. Now inhale, straighten the front leg, come up, turn your toes in, stretch from the center of the chest, turn your left leg out completely, turn your right toes in, stamp the outer edges of the heel, again maintaining this firmness, the right thigh, left thigh firm, start bending from the hip, move your left inner knee, not towards the screen, but away from the screen, and it's like a circle. It's like from the inner knee or rolling to the outer knee as you descend your hips down. You have to be conscious that you don't go into this mode. Yeah, there's a lot of people tend to do this. So you have to be firm here, maintaining the hip, turning from the left to the right, keeping your spine even on both sides as you go down. And this requires effort, being conscious with every movement. Inner knee to outer knee, left buttock in, left waistline, going to the right. And now turn to look towards your fingertips. Spread the open chest open. Tighten your upper arms. Now pressing into the legs. Straighten your left leg. Turn your toes in. And jump. And walk your legs back. Once more. Standing in simple Parasana. Roll the outer shoulders back. Elbows extending. Forearms extending. Utthita Parsvakonasana. Take a nice deep inhale, bring your hands in, jump and spread your legs out. Spread from the center of the chest. Turn your right leg out, left foot in. I know the pace is a bit faster today, but I'm sure you can keep up. You've been practicing hopefully for 12 weeks. Keep the legs firm. Take a deep inhale. With an exhalation, go down. Remember that rotation of the inner knee to the outer knee. Now lengthen the right side of the chest. Take it down. Place your hand on the floor or on the block and take the left arm across. You have to still move from that right inner knee, and you have to move the right hip in so you can turn your chest, and then maintaining that connection, lift your arm up. Stretch from the whole left hip all the way to the left fingertips, but from the left hip, press into the left outer edge of the foot. Turn your chest. And don't drop your head down. Your head lifts up towards the top arm. Now let's use the top arm like in Trikonasana. Inhale and come up. Bring your hands down for a brief while. Readjust your feet, toes pointing straight again. Spread from the center of the chest. Turn your left leg out. Turn your right toes in. See that your chest and waistline is facing forward. Stamp into the outer edges of the legs. Take a deep inhale, and with an exhalation, going down. Again, left inner knee to outer knee, right inner leg firm. Lengthen the whole left side of the body as you go down. Place your hand down. At the same time, you might bring your right hand on the hip to really encourage that left side of the body to turn to the right. The left armpit to turn. Keep the left waistline long and move that left knee into the arm. Now use your right arm as you stretch it. Again, the chest has a tendency to fall. Revolve, lengthen. Keep the left side of the chest facing forward. Right inner thigh firm. Lowering your right hip, turning. Turning from the left to the right. Elbows straight. If you're okay, you can turn your head and look at your right inner upper arm. And now use your right arm straight. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and come back to standing. Whew. Take a moment. Stand with your feet together. It is a hard pose, right? It does take effort to do it, which is why there is change that occurs as we continue to practice. The poses might seem quite simple, but if you start doing them regularly, you will definitely see the benefit. So pause for a few moments, once more settling yourself down, taking the outer shoulders back, lengthening from the shoulders all the way down into the fingertips. Observe the breath, normal soft inhale and exhale. Next, we go for Virabhadrasana 1. So bring your hands in the center, bend your knees and jump and spread your legs out. Rotate your upper arm. So the back armpit has to come forward. So it keeps the shoulder blades in as you lift and stretch your arms up. After you've created the lift and length, you're going to turn to your right side. So in this case, after you've turned your right outer leg, you do have to turn your left foot a little bit more. So please note, more than the previous pose. It's a 60-degree turn. So that helps you to allow that hip to turn, the chest to turn, the whole body to turn. At the same time, you have to be quite firm. I'm going to widen my distance so I can bend my leg better, revolving from the left inner thigh to the outer thigh. Stretch up with the arms and now bend your front leg. Here too, as you bend your front leg, don't let your hips go forward like this, yeah? So you have to see that the tailbone moves in, the right hip lifts up away from the right thigh, torso lifts up, but you go down. So it's a different movement. You have to see that your chest turns as well. Now use the arms to lift yourself up. Let's keep the arms still up, toes pointing straight, and we go to the other side. So turn your left leg out completely. Turn your right toes in, same as before. You have to create a good turn. At the same time, keep your right thigh bone back. Start to turn from the back of your thigh, the waistline, the chest, At the same time, don't fall forward with the pelvis. You have to lift that pubic bone up, chest up, all the way to the arms. Now maintain that lift as you go down. And this is tricky at the beginning, but this is what we want to work with. If you find you cannot bend your knee, you can widen your distance, but go down from the hip. Now again, turn from the right inner thigh to the outer thigh. Right side of the chest comes forward. Left side goes back. Lift up with the arms and go down from the pelvis. Remember to keep your right outer edge of the heel firm, not falling forward over your left thigh. Inhale and come up. Turn yourself around. Turn your toes in. Take your arms out to the side. Jump and come back to standing. Pausing here for a few moments. Normal soft inhale and exhale. Next, we go for Virabhadrasana 3. And as always, I will have to adjust my mat to stop myself from going into the wall. So once more, stand on the center of your mat. Bring your hands in the center. Bend and jump your legs out. Have a good distance. Rotate your upper arms. Inhale, lift up. Keep your upper arms tight. Stretch up. Turn your right leg out. Left foot slightly in. Keep your chest turning. Bend your right leg. Now you have to reach forward. Again, as I said, you can stay in this position, building your strength. Or you can come up and lift the back leg up. Look beyond your fingers so that you can straighten your leg and keep looking forward. Now to come down, it's a good idea to practice this. Really throw that back leg. So you end up in Virabhadrasana 1. And then you lift yourself up, turn around, and bring your hands and jump back. Little readjustment of the mat for the left side. So, oops. Okay. Stand with your feet together, hands at the center, bend your knees, and jump the legs. Rotate your upper arms, lift the side chest, elbows tight, turning towards your left. Turn your right toes in, turn the chest, turn the upper body, turn your left leg, keep the lift. Exhale, go down to Virabhadrasana 1. Reach with your arms. Keep stretching. Don't drop your elbows. Make them firm and then shoot forward as you come up. See that your right and left hip are working together. Keep extending through the arms, stretching through the back leg as you extend and keep the extension. Now let's throw the back leg down. So you land all the way into Virabhadrasana 1 again. And nicely straighten that leg. Turn your chest. Turn your foot. And jump back. So yes, it does take practice, effort to do it. And some days balance is good, some days it isn't. But that's what's showing up in practice is all about. Okay, the next standing balance pose. I hope you have been practicing Ardha Chandrasana. So let's start again. Ardha Chandrasana on the right side. Bring your hands in the center. Bend your knees. Jump and spread your legs out. Stretch your arms. Turn your right leg out. Turn your left foot in. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Trikonasana. From Trikonasana, you can go directly forward. Take your hand long. You have to extend it so that it ends up underneath your shoulder. And then when you lift your top leg up, remember this has to be firm so that you can stretch the bottom leg. And same as this, you have to lift the top arm, make the upper arm tight, elbows tight, knees tight. And now like before, can you bend your leg and really throw that leg? So you end up in Parsvakonasana, straighten to come up to Trikonasana, and then use the arm and come up. Let's shift to the other side. So I'll jump myself back so I have a little bit more space on the other side. Stand with your feet together again. Bring your hands in the center. Bend your knees and jump and spread your legs. Stretch your arms. Turn your left leg out completely. Turn your right toes a little bit in. Maintain both sides of the waistline. Take a deep inhale. Exhalation. Go down. Once you're here in the pose, go ahead and bend your leg. Bring your hand forward. This really helps because then you know how far to go, right? So it's like when I go, now my hand is underneath my shoulder. I press my hand. I lift the back leg up. Keep stretching your inner leg. Make your right hip firm. So that helps you with the left leg. And then use the right arm to stay lifting. Stretch your right leg, stretch your arms, keeps the knee straight, elbow straight. Breathe. Yeah, sometimes we forget to breathe or smile. Now let's try the other thing. So throw this leg back. There you are. I missed a little, but that was the intention. And then up to Trikonasana. And then back up. Turn your toes in. And jump and come back. Very good. So I hope you're practicing well and you're getting better, being able to transition from one pose to the next with ease. Well, you will do it if you keep practicing. So stand for a few moments, rolling the outer shoulders, keeping the elbows straight, stretching through your fingers. Now we are going to go for Uttanasana. We've been moving for a lot, so Uttanasana gives you a break. So you may stand with your feet as wide as your mat to begin with. Take your attention to these outer thighs. You have to be firm here, but don't let your knees come in. This inner knee has to lift. Think about this. Your whole leg holds the hip, right? So if it's a collapsed hip, you kind of go down in some strange way. But if you think of this as a structure, holding your hip, then the hip is rolling forward, right? So if I let go, something is happening to the back. So remember that. That's why we say leg straight is super important. So you have to keep your outer thigh bones in. You have to move them back. Keep stretching your toes so you can go from the pelvis. And again, it's not important that you go down. I think I've repeated that over and over again. What's important is your spine gets to elongate, the back of your legs opens, the front of your legs gets strong. And you might be able to be placing your hands down on the floor, or you might even have them on blocks or on a chair, and that's all good as long as you've got this extension. And then I'm just showing you the whole pose so you know. At the same time, keeping the legs firm, allow your buttock to come a little bit over. Yeah, so you see it was back. Without bending the knees, I roll forward. And then I have more space to lengthen, take my belly closer to the thighs, and then my chest, and then finally the head. Yeah, so often people do this. They try to get the head in. But it's not that, because you're again shortening your spine and you want extension as you go down. So be patient, stay with the pose. You can hold your legs, tighten your thighs, let the head go down, lifting the shoulders, stretching from the armpits to the elbows. Observe the breath, knees tight, thighs pulled up to the hip. Spread the back of your thighs. Fall a little bit forward towards the toes. And from the top of the buttock here, allow the spine to release down to the crown of your head. Breathe in and breathe out softly. Now to come up, use your legs. Lift your head up. Bring your hands on the hip. Remember to keep those thighs pulling up, pressing into the feet. Inhale and come up. Great. Now we're going to go for Parsvottanasana. So once more, standing tall. And as I said before, if you know your hands don't touch the floor, please use a chair, please use blocks. I'm simply showing you the pose, and you just have to make sure the spine stays long, even in this position. So let's begin. Parsvottanasana. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Stretch your arms out from the center of the chest. If you do not have a back problem, you can also stay with your hands on the hip, or in Paschim Namaskarasana. Yeah, so this is a bit more challenging, but you can do this. Or you place your hands on the hip. If you have a back problem, you can take your hands down on the floor. Keep your legs firm. Lift the side chest. I will go for Paschim Namaskarasana. Spread the chest, tailbone into the body. Turn your right leg out. Turn your left toes as much as you did in Virabhadrasana. Again, don't let your pelvis be forward. Buttocks in, lift from the pubic bone, lift from the chest. Keep the back leg firm and create that rotation of the hip, rotation of the chest. Here also, the left side of the abdomen has to turn to go to the right so that your belly button, right now it's facing forward, has to start to turn and go over your straight front leg. And as you're doing that, try to gaze forward. At the same time, take the shoulders back, the chest comes forward, the elbows come in, and then you let your head go down, only if your legs are straight. Extend through the big toes. Turn from your left side to the right. Now press into the feet, inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. I readjust my hands. Spread the collarbones, move from the elbows into the wrists to create a nice firm connection on my back. And now turning to the other side. So turning my left leg out completely, turning my right toes in, keeping the legs firm, gripping the pelvis as I go forward. So there's a good firm connection on my legs as I go. Now maintain the outer hips in. At the same time, keep stretching your left big toe and turn from the right side of the waistline to the left without letting the hip drop. Yeah, this is my hip dropping. That's why we have to resist that leg. Yet, maintaining the hip back is the waistline that turns and goes forward. Keep looking forward. If you can go down more without bending the legs, let your head release. Lift the shoulders, lift the elbows. Be strong on the back and the front leg. Now press into the feet. Look up, chin up, and come up. Turn your toes in. Take your hands out. Jump and come back into same position, Samasthiti. Next, we go for Prasarita Padottanasana. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Keep a good distance. Same thinking, the outer thighs move in, the inner knees have to lift up, but also they need to push out in the direction of the outer knee. Stamp the outer edges of the legs and keeping the hands on the hips, keep lifting the front hip bones up as you go forward. Chin forward, chest forward. Then bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders. You can stay on your fingertips. First, look up, chin up, chest up. The whole front of the body, like every other pose, has to come forward. Rotate your upper arms. So your shoulders pull back, elbows tight. Now maintaining this, if your hands can go more, you can walk your hands more in line with your feet. Yeah, you see I've taken my hands more in line with my feet. Then I begin to bend my elbows as I start to take my head down. However, though the hands are pressing, I have to see that my elbows don't spread in this pose. My elbows have to come in. So it keeps my shoulders firm, stable, as I let my crown of my head go down more and more. Tighten the legs, stamp the outer edges of the heels, and remember to lift your shoulders away from the neck. This is kind of moving us into this position of Sirsasana. You can see the head is going down. And if you have more mobility, you can even walk your hands more in. You can go more to the back crown of your head. Here, the back rounds a little, but that's all right. It allows you to spread your back ribs, bring your elbows in, and from the elbows, press into the wrist, but also from the elbow, pull back in the direction of the shoulders so the shoulder blades lift up. Press the outer edges of your legs. Keep your thighs tight. Breathe. Spread your back, elbows in, lift the shoulders. Now start to Lift your head up. Walk your hands forward. So you're back into the concave back. You can even walk your feet a little bit closer. Hands on the hips. Inhale and come up. Okay. Now let's jump the legs back and return back to Tarasana or Samasthiti. Now we are all going to come down to the floor. So we are going to start with Svastikasana. I will use one blanket for now. So we're going to use a blanket and sit on the floor in simple Svastikasana. Remember to always use the right height for yourself so you're not collapsing into the back. So straighten your legs. Now let's start with the right leg. So take your right leg from here, roll the thighs, try to bring the leg underneath your left thigh, then you cross at the shin. As you cross at the shin, you bring your feet closer underneath your knees. If your hips are tight, you might have to sit higher, and that's okay. Now maintaining the Svastikasana on the right side, you just have to see that your outer thigh bones stay in, your feet relax, and you're able to lift the chest up. Now let's do it on the other side. So straight legs again. Bend your left leg, move the knee back, roll the thigh in as you draw the legs underneath your right thigh, and then you bring your right shin bone crossing at the shin and tuck the feet in so that you can be level again. Bring the hands on both sides of the hips. Keep the outer hips in so that you can lift the front hip bones up, lift the abdomen up. And as I said, if you find your abdomen is sinking back, you definitely need more height. Now let's change the legs again for Parvatasana in Svastikasana. So bend your right leg again, move that in, left leg in, crossing at the shins, adjusting, move the buttock flesh slightly out so you're more in the center of your sitting bones. The front part, stretch your arms straight in front of you, right thumb on top of the left, interlace your hands, turning the palms out, upper arms in, elbows tight. With an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms. Elongate the upper arms, lift the waistline, lift the chest up. Again, don't throw your abdomen, belly forward. You actually want the navel back, lifting from the lowest part of the pelvis up, drawing the navel back. And it's the sides of the body that have to learn to lift. So you can lengthen and stretch your spine. Now bring your hands down. Let's change the legs and therefore the arms as well. Sit up tall, stretch your arms in front of you, take your left thumb on top of the right, interlace your hands again, turning the palms out, spread through the palms of the hand. Bring your outer elbows in, keep the elbows tight, keep stretching through the upper arms as you go up. Same thinking, keeping the navel back, pressing the outer sitting bones down, outer hips down, lift up, stretch your armpit. You can work your arms back, at the same time move the dorsal in, abdomen back. Now release and take your hands down. Okay, next we are going to go for, let me see, what was the next pose? We did Svastikasana, Parvatasana. In Svastikasana, we have Bharadvajasana. Okay, so we are going to do Bharadvajasana 1. We did the twist version. So you can use the support here. First, let's stretch our legs in Dandasana. I'm going to show you this view and also the side view for the next side. So your legs are straight and you're going to fold your legs and take it over to your left side. So you take your feet over to the left side. So your left leg is more in Virasana. The ankle is resting on the arch of this foot. Then I use this other blanket so I can elevate my hips and I am able to levelize my hips. Also adjust your knees. So your knees are not going out. They have to be in close and hips down. Once you're in the pose, you're going to lift your left arm up, stretch up, keep the left outer hip down, left thigh bone in, and then moving from the left ribs. Go ahead and grab the outside of your knee if that's possible. If it's not possible, hold anywhere higher. Press this right knee down, but use the arm to really lift up. And then keeping your left outer hip down, turn from the left side of the chest. And again, your arm forward means your back is rounding. You have to use the leverage of the arm to really move that left side of the chest forward and turning from the left to the right. Your head remains back. So this is the back rib work, which we have to get at the same time, making sure the hips are level. Bharadvajasana, 1. Now come back to the center and let me show you the other way. So you're going to move yourself to the left now. So that means your feet are going to go to your right. So when I take my feet, so now maybe it's clearer for you to see how the top of my ankle is on the arch of my foot, right? So this is the position if you're not sure. Then I adjust my pelvis and I move in. So again, here it's also easy to see. This buttock is really not on the blanket. It's a little bit off. So then my pelvis is level. I press the shin down. I see that the outer shin bone is in. My outer hips are in. Now we are going to turn towards our left. So as you reach your right arm up, you can observe your right outer hip down. Lift the right waistline. It's the back of the body that has to learn to come forward. As you can see, as I grab my leg, I revolve my chest. So please don't lean back, and that's why I want to show you the back view in this manner. This is causing stress on your back. You have to hold that knee and bring your chest forward, and now revolve your spine. Make sure the shoulders are not uneven. That affects the spine. So you have to bring that upper arm closer to the body and turn your chest, turn from the waistline. Look up, chin up. In fact, I'm showing you again from the back, though. If I put my head forward, the back starts to round. This is happening all day anyway. That's why it's important for you to go upward, head back, revolve the ribs, move the back ribs in. Now come back to the center and release. Okay, that's Bharadvajasana 1. Moving on, guess what? We are almost coming towards the end of the practice. We're kind of moving at a little bit of a quicker pace so that by now you've been familiar with the poses. I'm just naming the pose. I'm getting you to do it. And again, pointing out a couple of smaller things, which are things you have to keep in mind while practicing. So we are going to go for Salamba Sirsasana. You may use the wall. Today I'm going to do it without the wall, so you can have a look at how it's done. And of course, the previous videos show you how to work with the wall, to do half with the wall. If you're not ready to lift your legs up, all these versions are there in the previous videos. But for today, I'm going to go just straight up, and so that you have a reference point in terms of the practice. I'll show you the side view so it's clearer to understand. I use a blanket, or I use just so that my head has a little bit more support. Interlace your hands. Remember that interlace, even your elbows have to be in line with your shoulders, not too wide. And then we press. I use this edge of the blanket to make sure my elbows are in line. I interlace the hands. I press firmly down and then put the crown of my head down. Now this is a little bit similar to what we did previously, Prasarita Padottanasana. Remember I said go more to the background of your head. So if you can see me from the side now, this is me on the forehead. This is not really done. There are some Sirsasanas which have that, but for now we really have to go more to the background of our head. Yeah, so that gives the lift much better. You press your elbows, you make sure the forearms are pressing down, lift your shoulders, and then you walk in. And as you walk in,
This is the tendency, the back rounding. This is why we have to work on poses like Bharadvajasana, all the other poses which keeps the dorsal spine in. Now, you have two ways of going out. I'll show you both. You can tuck your knees in, move the dorsal spine in, really hug in tight, and then start to take your knees up. Yeah, as you take your knees up, you don't throw your buttock back. Yeah, this is not good for the lumbar spine. You have to draw that buttock in, thighs back, buttock in, thighs back. And you can balance yourself perhaps here and keep the buttocks in, keep stretching the side. Otherwise, you can straighten your legs as well. And you have to be strong in your legs. Your legs are not loose. A lot of people do this. Yeah, this is kind of like not usually the Iyengar way. We are very, very clear that we have to lift our body upward, use the legs, buttocks in, and thighs back. I'm not even sure if my legs are really straight. I'm doing my best. Hopefully they are. As you stretch your legs, buttocks in, front ribs in. Here also, there are tendencies I'm showing you that happen. The front ribs goes, the lumbar collapses, the legs go back. Or you're too scared to go back, so your legs are forward. So you have to press and you have to lift. You have to get that front rib into the body. Buttock in, stretch the legs, knees tight, heels up, and learn to move the legs back, but the buttocks in. Not legs back, buttocks back. Yeah? So stay, Sirsasana, press your forearms, lift your legs, abdomen back, thighs tight. Now from here, keeping your legs steady, you can come down with knees bent. So at the beginning, it's better. Or if you want, you can come down one leg at a time. And down. And then rest. Yeah, so you just rest for a few moments. Let your head release. This is one way of resting. The other way of resting is like this. Uttanasana. Now from here, bring your hands on the hip. Inhale and come up. Okay, so the next we are going to go for Adho Mukha Svanasana and Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so get ready. You don't need anything here too. You just need, I'm going to move my blanket out. So stand on the top of your mat. Lift your arms up. And from here, go forward. Uttanasana. Make sure your hands are spreading nicely. Your legs are firm. Look forward, keeping that dorsal spine in. And then walk your legs back. That's a good way to go for Adho Mukha Svanasana, right? So here we have to see that our palms are pressing, our elbows are lifting, our upper arms are lifting. But our armpit has to learn to go down and in the direction of our legs. In the same way, our thighs have to go up to the hip and move back. So there's an extension of the spine. Observe your feet. Keep stretching the calf muscle down to the heel. Elbows tight, dorsal in, front ribs going back. Legs firm, knees tight. Now maintain this. Resist your elbows as you come forward to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Outer shoulders back, pelvis has to come forward. Yet you have to lift your inner knees, move the buttock in, lift the chest, head back. From here, abdomen back into the body. As you go up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Upper arms tight, knees tight, stretching from the pelvis down. Again, moving the buttock in, pressing into the hands, lowering your hips down. Lift your inner knees, stretch your inner legs, press your hands, chest forward, head back, buttocks in, inner legs long. Back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Resist your elbows, don't let them go to the floor. Resist your forearms. At the same time, move that dorsal spine in, moving it in the direction of your legs. Have a look at your thighs. Thighs should be tight. moving the buttocks in the direction of away from your body towards the heels. Away from your head, I mean. Not going forward towards the head. Back. Now from there, you can come down. Okay, so we are coming towards the end of our sequence, and it's the usual with the cooling poses, though they might seem a bit difficult. So I'm already feeling a bit hot. So it's going to cool down now with the Sarvangasana poses. So I'm going to pause the video, set up my props, and return back, and you can do the same. So it's time for Sarvangasana. So all the props have been set up. I'm going to position myself, making sure the back of the head is lengthened. My shoulders are within the structure of the blankets. I can hold and press my hands down. I can pull my knees in, roll, and take my legs back in Halasana. Then it's a good idea sometimes to hold the mat like this. Sometimes we use the belt, sometimes we can even use the mat, right? So you can see how I drew that outer shoulders. And it's very important that you end up here. That's why if I'm here, you can see I cannot be on the top of the shoulders. So I have to walk my legs a little bit away and really end up here and see that I'm on the top. So even if you're using your chairs, you have to move from here to here. Then you can again reach, tuck the elbows, right? So you see I'm trying to really stabilize my elbows and make them long. Then I turn my hand and I try to bring it as low on my back as possible. This is important. Then after I've got this, I start to walk my leg back. And I still lift my back. So don't collapse your back. I get my elbows in. If your elbows have a tendency to slip, please use a belt. Lift your back and up and away. Really use the hands to lift. Then you bring one leg in. I'm going to take my leg up, especially here. Move that buttock in, stretch the leg, and usually the other leg might come up. This might take some time, but once you're up, you're good. Here too, join your big toes. Don't sink. This is the work. Your spine has to get stronger. You have to dig your elbows so that you've got that lift. You see this? Then you use your hands and further lift the back. End up more on the top of the shoulders, but your legs shouldn't come towards your face. Your thighs have to stay back. Yeah, so then it's better for the neck. And if the thighs go back, the elbows become heavy, the spot, and then I can lift. Otherwise, you can see the elbows are becoming light and the pressure is going to my neck and face. So please stay back with your legs. And like you did in Salamba Sirsasana, you have to draw the buttocks in, press your elbows, lift, knees tight. Stay as long as you can maintain it, but we are going to move on to show the variations. Buttocks in. Now keep your left leg. In fact, keep watching your left inner leg and not letting it move. Take your right leg with the knee straight as far as it will go. But my main is my left leg. I'm not so bothered about where my right leg lifts, especially this side. It shouldn't collapse. Keep lifting your spine, lifting your back as you take your leg down. Now, keeping the left leg straight, lift your right leg up. Again, lift your back, right leg straight. Keep stretching the right leg, and the left leg will be lighter. Don't let it come forward. Keep extending from the inner leg to the inner heel. Now lift that left leg up. Let's do one more. Eka Pada Sarvangasana. Keep pressing your elbows. Bring your right leg down. Keep stretching your left inner leg. Knees straight, outer hips up. Lift the leg up. Buttocks in. Weight is on the elbows. Keep your right leg straight now. Start to bring your left leg down. Keep pressing your right elbow, buttocks in as you take this leg out. You can allow this to come a little forward, the right leg, but straight. And now bring the leg back up. Again, lift your back, readjust your hands. And from here, we are going to go for Halasana. So you can take your legs straight down. Again, readjust your elbows. Keep lifting your thighs. And we spread our legs to Suptakonasana. So take your legs out wide, big distance. Now don't collapse. You have to lift. You have to lift your outer thighs, inner knees. Keep the outer hips in. So the legs are doing the work, the lower spine is lifting. Press your elbows. Move the dorsal in. Now slowly bring your legs in. Halasana. For Halasana, you can let your buttock come a little bit forward. You can even release your hands and be here. Now from Halasana, go to Karnapindasana. Move your knees close to your ears. You may wrap your arms around. Spread your back. And now again, hold your back. Slowly lower your hips down. And just stay there quiet for a few moments, wherever you are. Now gently roll to the side and come up. And we're going to do again what we did last week, which was Paripurna Navasana. Okay, so let's get ready. I'm going to move the props out. Okay, so we go for Paripurna Navasana. Your legs are straight and Dandasana. You can bend your legs. Option 1, you can hold the back of the knees, lean back with your upper chest, get your outer thigh bones in so that you can lift your sacrum, lift your sternum, and you can stretch your arms. That's option 1. Option 2, if you can go back, keeping the lift of the chest, pull your knees close and then straighten your legs. Paripurna Navasana, this is an abdominal pose in terms of the category of poses, asana, and extending through the legs, lifting the chest, stretching through the arms. Bend your knees and come down. Okay, once more. So again, you have choices. You can do this position, lifting the waistline up, lifting the abdomen up, drawing the abdomen slightly back in so it gives you a support for the lower spine as you draw the shoulders down, and then you can stay in option 1, trying to get your feet parallel, or you can stretch your legs and look up. Now bend your knees and come down. Great. And for fun, you can do a few rolls before you go down and do Janushirasana and Paschimottanasana. So, but you have to see that you have free, right? Of course, if you have your knee back problem or anything, don't do it. But this is pretty good. So you can start in Dandasana. You take your arms straight and then back to Paschimottanasana. Halasana, Paschimottanasana. Halasana, Paschimottanasana. Halasana, Paschimottanasana. Now let's see if we can do this. I might not be able to. Halasana. Oh, I couldn't do it. Let's try it again. And Navasana. And then Navasana. down to Paschimottanasana. Well, just a bit of fun. Okay, let's finish off our practice. Let us do Janu Shirshasana and Paschimottanasana. So you can take whatever height you need, bending your right leg, moving it close to the inner groin, keeping your feet soft, keeping your left leg straight. Reach up with your arms, turning the abdomen, turning the chest, going forward, extending, releasing your head down. I'm going to get this blanket so my forehead can rest. So now we've come to the end of the practice. So use whatever height you need. As I said, a bolster, a chair. So don't round your back. After all this work to extend your spine, it is to cool off, but you want to keep your spine still extending. Now inhale and come up. Let's change the side. I turn around the other way so it's easy for you to see. Straight legs, bending my left leg, moving the heel close to the groin. Don't tuck your foot under, please. Yeah. And yet you have to adjust. Your knee goes back, but your pelvis comes forward. Yeah. So it's like a counter rotation. So this is going down, and that's the root from which you can roll the chest and go forward. Yeah. So the hip is pushing forward, the knee is going back, and your abdomen, chest, waistline is going forward. As you keep your legs straight, you let your head go down as it will. Also, remember to keep your elbows a little up. It gives you more room to spread your back. Keep your straight leg. In this case, it's your right inner leg straight. It has a tendency to kind of bend all the time. Turn from the left side of the abdomen to the right, just like we did in Parsvottanasana when we were doing the standing poses. Now inhale and come up. Paschimottanasana. Legs straight. I'm going to use the blanket again. Little support for my forehead. Lifting the spine. Reaching the arms up. Moving the dorsal in. Chin up, chest up. Go forward. Elongate yourself as far as you need to go. And then let your head rest. These legs have to be straight. Yeah, so don't bend your knees. You press the thighs down. Hug the outer thighs in. Stay quiet. Now slowly begin to lift your head up. And it's time for Shavasana. So set yourself up. You can use the same blanket. And once more, see that the blanket is only from your neck to the head. Draw the outer shoulders down, palms facing up. Slowly, one leg at a time, extend your legs, letting your legs fall out to the side. And then close your eyes and give yourself a couple of moments being quiet in Shavasana. If you're at home, you can just pause the video and continue and come out at your own pace. And those of you who wish to follow, I'm just going to do a slightly shorter version, maybe 3 minutes. So relax your arms, make your arms heavy, your legs heavy. See that the head is completely resting on the blanket. Relax your facial features, your eyes, your tongue, the ears. And Shavasana is that unique pose where we can still stay alert in our mind, but let go of the arms and the legs. Not move for a few moments.
closing off our sense organs and letting the body be. Now slowly, at your own pace, begin to deepen your breath, taking a soft, slow inhale and an exhale. Gently begin to open your eyes, taking in the whole room. Bring your right hand, your left hand back on your belly. Bending your right knee, your left knee. Gently roll over to the right side. And then use your left hand, press into the floor. And come up. Once more, let's bring our hands at the center of the chest, having a sense of gratitude for the practice of Iyengar Yoga, for the grace of Guruji and Gitaji, and all the teachers who stand before us, who have generously shared their wisdom, their practice with all of us, so that we too may walk in this path of practice to purify the body, mind, take a deep inhale and exhale. And thank you. Namaste.